BenFlyingRetro, and I'm embarking on a quest to purchase every classic GI Joe comic from the original 80s and 90s Marvel run.
Warning.
Hunting down individual issues from every corner of the globe in whatever order the universe decides to give me. Join me and my pal Steve every week as we discuss my latest find. Welcome to Chasing Joe. Chasing Joe. It's episode 39 of Chasing Joe. I'm BenFlyingRetro, joined as always by
Job7.
You've got that sleepy look. Yeah, I don't know. Are you just about to go to bed, or have you just been in bed?
Oh, jeez, Ben.
Bedhead.
Out me to the listeners. I don't know, man. It's recently been shampooed. I've stopped cutting my hair. I guess I'm inspired by you somewhat. But I'm in that awkward phase before you can start rocking a bandana and like letting the tresses fall.
Oh, I was just chatting to someone at my local cafe about that. The bad phase. Not long, it's not short, it's just in betweeny. It's difficult.
And if it's just been shampooed, it's just a floofy mess. It's got no real direction, hold, whatever. I should be grateful that I have hair at age 40, so, you know.
Dude, you're lucky. You're very lucky, and all of the listeners out there are very lucky that I'm even here today, because I got myself a Nintendo Switch 2 with Mario Kart World! And that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do is play that game because it is joyous.
Well, we're very grateful to have you, and it was one of the highlights of my week chatting to you about my favorite subject under the sun. So I speak for all of us when I say we're grateful.
Yes, and well, if it wasn't Nintendo Switch 2, it's my Mission Impossible-a-thon that I'm doing.
Okay.
Yes.
Step aside, Tarantino. It's time to get back into a far less critically acclaimed, far more popcorn-munching film series.
I think I have been too cynical about modern films because I've just watched Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout, and they are all incredible. Like, maybe some of the best action films ever made. Not only are they incredible, but they were also so well received critically, which I didn't realise. Like, a lot of people out there saying Fallout could be the greatest action film ever made, and they might be right. There's just something, it's one of those strange franchises that gets better as it goes along. Like, those three films are so good, and I think they make modern Bond films seem like utter toilet.
I don't know, Bond fights back in my esteem with something like Skyfall.
Yeah, Skyfall, but that's, for me, that's not him. That's Sam Mendes. That's because it has an auteur, and everything I like about that film has more to do with the cinematography than the actual film.
Here's another criticism that I'll level. Has Mission Impossible ever achieved the kind of level of villainy and menace that you had with Philip Seymour Hoffman in the third film? You know, you say
wow.
You say that the last, well, the intermediate three are the strongest, but I don't connect with that baddie.
I know. No, you're right with 3 though. He is, from the kind of TV opening where you're seeing towards the end of the film, he is terrifying in that film. He's kind of done away with, he's not a physical villain, so he kind of goes out pretty easily. But yeah, he's scary.
There's something about Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the character name. I had it on the tip of my tongue for a while, and then
yeah, I should know. I've just watched the damn thing. But then 3, you feel like 3 is a reboot, and it is. But then there's actually quite a sizable gap between 3 and Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, kind of. It goes through an identity switch.
Yeah.
Comes
now I know that I may have
more tight sort of focus and sense of purpose and what it is these films are aiming to achieve.
I may have some pain coming my way with these Reckoning films. I mean, I haven't actually read anything positive about either of those two films. So,
boo! Damn, I was absolutely riveted by the first one, and the second one.
Okay.
As I said when I'd just seen it, it's absurd. It is so absurd, and yet still a thrill ride. So
cool.
Take what you
that
want from
opera. That opera scene in Rogue Nation is masterful filmmaking. Okay. It's absolutely great. I don't know what I've been doing. They're incredible films.
It should appeal to the Spielberg sensibilities in you. The kind of like just the chaos and upping the ante constantly. Yeah. And yes, Final Reckoning is that roided out on growth hormone, on speed, on amphetamines.
Welcome to Chasing Mission Impossible. We've done it again.
It ain't Star Wars this week.
Some say that Chasing Joe, what I'm doing is Mission Impossible, but we're making it seem very possible because I got a fresh book delivered only 2 weeks ago. This came. Let's open it up, because that's what we do. Look at me. I'm so on brand. I can't do Luigi. What's Luigi's voice? He's more like that, isn't he? Oh!
My only point of reference, I'm afraid, is the film.
My point of reference is Luigi's Mansion, which is an incredible video game. It's essentially Ghostbusters, but yeah. Let's get into this.
Let's.
What
has Ben got for us this week?
I've made such a pig's ear of this. Wow. What am I doing? Okay. Okay. Whoa. Hey. Okay, we got a Joe book, but this is what I like. Now, I would call this a cherry. This is a cherry on top. Now, this is something that I do. So if you buy from anything off of me on Vinted or eBay, I will always put in a trading card. Now, this dude gets great feedback from me because he has given me a 1991 Marvel Universe card of Chameleon.
And it's
lovely.
Polybagged. What the hell?
Of course it is. What do you mean? I'm cross that it's not in a top loader.
I've been buying like vintage Toy Biz X-Men toys, action figures, and inside each of the bubble packs there is a card, but they just stick the card naked with a piece of sticky tape.
Jeez. Well, by the way,
it was the 90s. By the way,
I've been buying so many the real Ghostbusters toys. I've almost bought all of the Spiral.
Yeah, it's
just pure Mortal Kombat, isn't it?
Yes, that art style amazing. Who was the artist? It says Tristan 93.
I should have
Bravo.
I should have grabbed some of them, but anyway, I've almost got all of the Haunted Humans. So Ex-Cop, Tombstone, Granny Gross, not Fearful Flush.
That's it.
And we've just ordered the Mailman. I don't know what he's called. They are joyous toys. So much humor in them. They're really good, and they're kind of chunky and oversized. Obviously, no articulation, but that's not really the job. They're very funny, and they look like a cartoon.
As a child, that's what put me off them. The fact that they weren't action figures. The fact that they were complete gimmick, like novelty toys.
Yeah.
I think now my attitude would have changed. Like, it's less about the play and immersion in the world and creating a character, and it is more about like, this has got a funny little play feature. This is the perfect desk toy.
Well, look, we're drifting. We're just driftwood. What have we got here? Yearbook 4, So don't worry, guys. We really are doing everything on this show. I'm not just chasing the 155. I'm chasing it all. So Yearbook 4, November 3rd, 1987. Am I right in thinking there was no Yearbook 5? So this is it.
This is it.
So they really pulled the cord on this after just 4 yearbooks. Let's just, before we get into it, quite a lot to say on this book and what a yearbook is and what it means. But let's immerse ourselves in the cultural landscape of November 3rd, 1987. Get yourself to the Megaplex and go and watch Arnie in one of his best, The Running Man. For my money, one of the best 80s Arnie films, probably one of the ones I rewatched the most. I was just in love with the format, that game show, Stephen King book, very different from the book. But for me, big soft spot for The Running Man. Did it hit you in the feels?
Hell to the yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it aged as well as some of the other Arnie stuff. It's not as tight as like a Predator or obviously a Terminator. It's got some looseness. It's definitely a product of its time.
Yeah,
but it's
probably got the most Arnie one-liners in any of his films, I would say. Almost every piece of dialogue is a one-liner, I think.
I would hazard that Commando probably tips the scales. But I don't know. No, what am I saying? Batman and Robin. But then they were just leaning into it by then.
Yeah, for sure. So The Running Man was at the Megaplex. Have a time with that. And the song, one of my faves, a song that I like to listen to at the gym, a song that I like to listen to when I'm running. It is Don't Push Too Far, Your Dreams Are China in Your Hand. Don't wish too hard because they make them true and you can't help them. What a song by Tapow, China in Your Hand. I don't know if that's
so accurate to the version. I'm worried that this video is going to be demonetized by YouTube's algorithm. It's bang on there.
Look, 1987 S-Jubs in California, get yourself down to Hollywood Comics and pick up Daredevil issue 252, double-sized issue featuring Black Widow. Then, next to that, you'll find Thundercats, issue 21, titled Father Snarf. Snarf! Actually looks awful, so maybe don't pick that up. But make sure you pick up, if you've got a 32p and you find yourself in the UK, pick up Action Force issue 36. Now, speaking of Action Force, this had just been released for the C64, the Action Force video game. Now, do you know of this game?
I've only ever seen game footage on YouTube. This is the one where you control the dragonfly and the ore striker is cruising along beneath you.
Yeah, you're flying the dragonfly and you've got to protect. It's kind of like a modified ore striker. It seems to have some kind of spinning dish and you've got to kind of lift. You've got to put pontoons down and bridges and things. I don't know what you're fighting. They may just be like generic Cobra vehicles. And I think if you had it on the Spectrum, you may not have been in the Dragonfly. You may have been Snake Eyes with a jetpack.
Whoa.
Or I may have invented that. I think that's true. It seems strange. But look, here's a review from the time. More GI No than GI Joe. A very bland and uninspired licensed shooter in every respect. But hey, at least the horizontal scrolling is smooth. 5 out of 10. Well, I loved it. So there you go. Right.
Now, when you say that there was a version where you wore Snake Eyes, I think you might be thinking of Action Force 2. Is that possible?
No, I researched Action Force 2. Quick kick on the cover, yes?
Yes.
Quick kick on the cover.
It's a shooter. You are sort of a sniper controlling the targeting reticle. He is maneuvering along the structure, and you have to basically clear his path.
Well, look, we can either clear this up now with a Google, or we can let someone take care of it in the comments. I'm sure the Spectrum version was different.
Right.
But there you go. But look, we got a yearbook to discuss. Now, I don't need my notes because I have no notes. I don't have notes. So.
Oh, yes. ZX Spectrum. Snake Eyes on like a helipack.
Oh, helipad. So like a rotor thing.
If this screenshot is anything to go by, and I'll bring it up for y'all to see.
This guy sent this without a board. Savage.
Oof. Well,
oh, wow. So it's way... the Spectrum was probably not as good graphics as the C64, because C64 looks a lot better than that. Quite different, actually. I mean, that looks like a different game.
Yeah, nothing is recognizable. Is that Snake Eyes? Is that War Striker? What tank are they fighting?
Yeah, I mean, that looks like a different game.
But as was the norm back then, like oftentimes games would be developed and then a license would fall in your lap, and you're like, well, we can massage this to fit. You know, these sprites kind of look like GI Joes and Cobras. Spectrum
is very much a UK machine. This is a thickie. It's a thickie. Yes. I think back in the day, you get this, you are pumped. You're like, wow, this is an extra oversized issue. Look at the back. No advert there. That's so cool.
Well, I mean,
that's
to put
great.
People in the frame, it is a story. It is a backup story. It is a cover gallery of a year's worth of GI Joe books. It is also, and this is the best thing about this, a summary of an entire year's worth of stories, which is
prose.
Incredible. Like they have, the prose summary, but actual like key frames of the issues to kind of bring out the story elements. Love that. Before
we get stuck in, does this mean anything to you? Do you own it? How are you consuming it in 2025?
It is the only yearbook that I had as a child, and was useful in telling me how to firstly infiltrate Cobra Island, because I didn't have any of the other issues that dealt with that kind of device. Also, how to play with Crocmaster, because this is your instruction booklet. He is the toy that this story seems to be promoting more than anything else.
I think these yearbooks make a lot more sense and are sort of more valuable being read at the time in the run. You know, they're like a manual and they catch you up on what's happened in the previous year.
And gives you some added intel. Like this actually does have some information that becomes key in the invasion of Cobra Island, which is going to be happening in the main line shortly.
Just quickly before we push on, do you want to guess the price, S-Jubs?
For a yearbook.
For a yearbook.
I'm going to go on the low end. I don't think it's one of the more desirable yearbooks. So I'm going to say you probably spent £5.
I can tell you what I spent. It was... Oh, where is it? $2.99.
No, damn it.
What a steal.
I was about to rejoice, but I thought 3 and I said 5 because I'm conservative.
What's going on the cover, S-Jubs? Crocmaster, baby.
Yeah, baby.
And October Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And Fred 7.
Or is it? Cover by Herb Trimpe. Yes, it's a horror show holding the battle armor Cobra Commander aloft while Crocmaster in the foreground kind of closes in with his croc army, or alligators. They're alligators in this.
I know, why are they alligators? I always played these he's not Alley Master. He's not Gator Master.
More familiarity to an American audience?
Yes. Perhaps. Florida.
Yeah.
Gators. Now, so you open it up, you've got yearbook contents. So when I picked this up, for some reason, I went into it expecting this to be like an annual. I was expecting a crossword, a quiz, I was expecting maybe a reprint, So I was like, oh, this is a unique story. That's fun. But it wasn't that kind of bumper fun-filled annual type thing. And then I realized, okay, a yearbook is serving a different purpose. This is for people that were collecting at the time. And it's, more of a catch-up. So it says G.I. Joe Trade-Offs, an all-new tale featuring G.I. Joe's favourite bad guys, Cobra. And the adventure continues, an up-to-date survey of all the best of G.I. Joe and Cobra action for the past year. A gallery of covers, a year in the life of G.I. Joe covers, from issues 57 to 68. I mean, it's still pretty kind of early, so they really didn't crack on with the yearbooks after this. This must have bombed. And then we get a little story at the end called Bystander, a brand new 7-page story featuring G.I. Joe favourites, Scarlet and Snake Eyes. So I guess you're pretty pumped when you open this up. It's thick. You're like, wow. You know, you're going to get value for your money.
I feel like there's a but coming around the corner, Ben.
The but doesn't start. I'll tell you where the but starts. Basically, as soon as we get to Crocmaster, at the beginning, you know I love maritime. You know I love the ocean. I love the heft of that image. And
Russian submarine. They're all floating.
I like how all business Cutter is as well. You know, when he just fires the salvo. Like, he just bangs those orders out. I mean, that guy knows what he's doing when he's on the water. And he certainly knows what he's doing when he's in charge of the whale. Mm-hmm. I think we spoke... I've got a lot of time for Cutter. Ballsy. I kind of like about G.I. Joe... G.I. Joe, they're not scared to necessarily, like... Sometimes you can really feel the hierarchy and who's in charge, but no, you're out at sea... You're on the whale, Cutter's going to be giving the orders on when to fire and what to do. You know?
Yeah.
There's no kind of tiptoeing around there. And look, we've got a lot of October Guard in this issue as well. Because they are planning to land on Cobra Island. In fact, did you want to do your synopsis of this story?
October Guard have been tasked with the impossible mission of kidnapping Cobra Commander from Cobra Island. Like, there are only 5 members of the October Guard dispatched on this mission, and that is what they are sent out to do, which is ballsy as all hell.
And they're in 2 teams, yeah?
Yep. 2 rafts are deployed by a Russian sub. One of those rafts is intercepted by a torpedo and wetsuit, who then proceed onto the island to... find out what the Ruskies are doing. Anyway, it seems like Horosho, Dana, and Colonel Brekov are able to navigate the swamp, get past Crocmaster and all his crocs, get to the Cobra Amphitheater where big celebration is happening, and they bag what they think is Cobra Commander, but it's actually a battle android trooper in the Cobra Commander armor. Whoopsie. They make good their escape in a Cobra Mamba, only to find that it is a bat who destroys the helicopter, brings it down, and they basically give up this wreckage of the Mamba to the Joes in exchange for 2 of their guys who got captured early on. Stormarvik and Shrage? Whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, there are some other nuances to this issue. The fact that this is the issue that Serpentor and Mindbender just discover the truth that Fred 7 is masquerading as Cobra Commander.
Yeah, there's some funny panels of those 2.
Up to this point, but this is the one that confirms it.
Yeah, so let's get into Crocmaster, because is this his first reveal? Do you know?
I think so.
Yeah, cool.
I don't. As a rule, I don't kind of research around the issue.
Yeah.
Because this is it. This is the one that landed in front of our noses today.
So quickly, Crocmaster was what year? What series was he with for the Fig?
1987 series. So
okay,
this is absolutely. His,
so UK, that's probably hitting me in what 88.
90.
Okay, well. Christmas 1990 is when I got this guy, And it was a great Christmas because I probably got all of those dudes at that time, which was probably like Big Boa, Raptor, you know, Cobra, Cobra zany individuals though. And my God, I loved Crocmaster. Loved him hard. And I kind of like how he starts in this. But again, so much dialogue here that should be Batman boxed dialogue. Like, who the hell is he talking to during all of this stuff? He's just talking out loud. I do like the fact that he's like a crocodile. He's just motionless in that swamp. That is very cool. That's just him almost idling. And he's not a part of Cobra yet. He's on some trial work experience scheme.
Yeah.
Effectively. And I do like the mythology of, like, you've got Cobra Island, and apparently there's just some dude, some crocodile nutter that kind of is, I don't know, like, I don't know, what is he, like a guard to the swamps? He can notify Cobra of any kind of intruders or...
Well, the file card is key in this respect. We could do a little read if you'd like.
I would love to. I get such Bane vibes from him. Yes. Personally, that's how I would love him to be. Just, I'd like the panels to be darker. Just those red eyes. And I'd want him to talk like Bane too.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Want him to not talk at all, to be honest.
Oh, no, I want him to talk. That croc vest is so cool. It's really great. I think his look is amazing. Like, don't change anything. Like, yeah. It's very creepy, the fact that he's just lying in that damn swamp. Here we
File
go.
Name unknown. A casual visitor to Cobra Island might find his access to certain areas blocked by a maze-like system of shallow canals. These interconnecting waterways are abundantly stocked with ravenously hungry, man-eating crocodiles, thank you, which have been deliberately conditioned to be hostile, psychotic, and fast. The man responsible for these repugnant reptiles is Crocmaster, a former alligator wrestler and burglar alarm salesman who founded... he's a security dude. Who founded Guard Gators Incorporated in an effort to commercialize the use of alligators for home security. Then there's a quote. Crocmaster spends his leisure hours dozing in a tub of tepid bath water with only his nose breaking the surface. He dreams strange green dreams while grinding his teeth and clenching his powerful jaws. Whoa. He has a hunger that never leaves him.
That is a great quote. That really gets the imagination going. I love that. Like, he dreams strange green dreams while grinding his teeth. Whoa, get him in a live action film.
Yeah,
and make him terrifying.
Something subhuman about him. Something that this file code is trying to make you get the sense that he's primordial or like some kind of beast man.
Yes.
But then he has an incorporated like company. That kind of flies in the face of it.
It's almost like he goes into like when you put your computer into sleep mode, he has these long humps of time where he's just dormant and just being very still, like a croc does to conserve energy. Guard Gators Incorporated. Well, I know my next tattoo.
What font would you use?
I mean, that logo draws itself, surely.
There's something that I also enjoy about just the setting of Cobra Island being incorporated in this file card. Like, he has a very specific talent, and that's to basically use ravenous crocodiles to guard bodies of sort of low water, swamp water. And if most of Cobra Island's topography is that, it's this freshly created landmass, most of it is absolutely waterlogged, if not swamped. So he's got this system.
It makes total sense.
like water has conductivity, and if you're especially attuned to it, like a carnivorous crocodile or a mutant man, maybe he can sense when someone is invading his swamp. Like this is kind of like almost sixth sense. This yeah.
Yes. Each croc almost represents like a motion sensor. Like it makes so much sense. If you've got Cobra Island and it is loaded with crocs, what an amazing deterrent. It's like, okay, yeah, great, we landed on the beach. Now we have no choice but to wade through croc-infested swamp. Like,
it's horrifying.
Sod that.
If there are any high points like roads and stuff, those are obviously going to be the most conventionally patrolled. So you've got these choke points of that you could put troops on, and then the rest of Cobra Island is this almost impenetrable swamp.
I filmed
dipping your boot into that water.
I can relate a little bit. I filmed a documentary in Arnhem Land in northern Australia with a Aboriginal tribe, and they did all their spearfishing and all their fishing at night. And
oh, good.
One of them was like, okay, let's go out and wade out. And it was like, half a mile out, but we were still just in up to our knees. And they gave me a torch and they were just like, yeah, if you see, just shine it around. If you see it go red, if you see 2 red eyes, that's a croc. So just stay away. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was having an actual meltdown. So having this torch, I'm just like, if I see red reflecting, I'm just going to cry.
You're surrounded by a body of water. What are you going to do?
Oh, jeez.
Flapping your wings.
Just run back to the beach as hard as I could. It was freaking insane. But yeah, so Crocmaster, one of my favourite figs. A lot of good times playing with him. He obviously came with a croc, and he came with a really amazing leash, didn't it? Like big spikes on it. What else did he come with? A whip?
Whip.
Yeah, whip.
And most notoriously of all, he came with a hose. For some reason, these freaks from 1987 all had separate hose pieces.
Yeah, strange.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, and you obviously you added Crocmaster to your collection when you were still a child, or was that something you got later?
I passed him up routinely. I saw him on pegs.
Why? How?
Back then, it was the accessories that really sold a figure to me, and
I know you love that Cobra on him. I know you love that though.
Yeah,
on that
sure.
Vest.
Have a sigil on you, especially when you are on a trial period. You really want to act like a blowhard. Yes, I'm going to manifest my destiny. I've got this job.
It's interesting. He's got one bracelet. It's kind of a metal one, and then he's got another one in the croc leather type skin.
Yeah, man.
I think he is a fantastic figure. For my money, I think he is amazing. That sculpted vest. And are you meant to sort of think? Are you meant to think that belt buckle is an eye? Yeah, like a croc's eye, or not?
It's a hella cool belt buckle. I mean, I was asked once by a mate of mine if you were to take Globulus and give him legs, which figure would you use? I said Crocmaster.
Do you think there's tech
no doubt
in that belt? It's the only kind of...
I'd like to think Crocmaster is as low tech as they come.
Same, but I feel like that right bracelet has got something to do with that belt. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
He can summon his crocs using some kind of high-pitched frequency that this bracelet emits. Maybe.
As soon as you give someone, breathing apparatus or anything like that, they become scary and intimidating. You can just imagine him breathing through that. Yeah.
Now, my question to you is, does he use it to breathe when he's under the water, or does he use it to breathe when he's above the water?
Interesting. Well, he hasn't got gills. I think he just breathes through it all the time.
Damn I really want him to be this amphibious.
That's
fishman.
Almost like a gimp, Pulp Fiction-y leather mask, isn't it?
Yes, stretched tight over his
real
face.
tight. What a fig! I had him, I don't have him now, but you know I'm getting him on eBay after this show.
Good luck with that hose, my friend. Anyway, at this point, I'm late to say this, but like as always, 3D Joe's is the resource we use for these pictures. So if you don't know 3D Joe's and you are jonesing for the highest quality captures of any of this toy goodness.
That's such a lovely way to pose him as well with the whip.
Oh yeah. Head over to 3djoes.com. Maybe buy their posters or their books.
Oh, that's a great shot. So the whip, I never really associate whips and like croc or alligator wrestling. Is there something in that then, I suppose? I guess if they ever turn on him, he gets the whip out.
It's for whipping GI Joes. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, flailing them. Woo! Yeah, well, let's get back into the
sculpted revolver, which the 25th anniversary version actually gave you a removable piece. So he does have some firepower.
Yeah. But how do we feel about him in this issue? And how do you feel about how he's used in this issue?
He's a freak. I appreciate. I sense you are not in favor.
No. Yeah.
I think you are upset that he's so ineffective.
Yes,
You don't
I think
see
that's
any
it.
October Guard or any Joes getting absolutely mauled by crocs or alligators. They always seem to find a light way out. I mean, they do have firearms, but they are trying to sneak up, so they can't cut loose with their guns until, of course, Cobra decide to burst some fireworks, in which case it's open season on all the reptiles.
Yeah. Now, I did mention...
A combat team with automatic weapons versus crocs, it is going to be a bit one-sided, and this inevitably happens. I filmed a sequence with Croc Master, ironically also in Northern Australia, near a body of water. I need to get my head checked for doing that, idiot.
Yeah.
But this is how it would always turn out. I mean, unless they've got the surprise element, but once that's done away with, like,
Yeah.
you can shoot a croc quite effectively with a machine gun.
Oh, yeah, you can. Look, I'm not jonesing for this to be real world. Oh, that's a good panel there where he spits out all the grenade pins. That's amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
Horror Show stuffs grenades. I don't know where he does this, but somehow between the panels, he stuffs grenades into all these roast chickens that he had been consuming during the mission. I mean, this guy's a joke. Like, get out the cigars and caviar as well, why don't you? But yeah, he stuffs them with grenades, and then they run off. The crocs have at these chickens, and Horror Show then reveals to his teammates that he'd been carrying the grenade pins in his mouth the whole time. And, take cover!
You mentioned Serpenta and Mindbender, and there's such a funny panel when they're just sort of hiding in the bushes with the BAT.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of just makes you feel of like how, not soap opera, but yeah, it's just a very funny image. Serpentor there.
Pure comedy. But
Yeah.
why
Pure
not?
comedy. The bat being there is just, it's just like, yeah.
He's a quiet friend. Just keep him around. Oh, dude, what do you think of Fred 7 having a relationship with the Baroness?
Yeah, so that's just above that panel. He's
That's
trying to
an
get he's trying to get his smooch on.
interesting wrinkle in this story. I mean, Baroness, like, if ever you were under any misconceptions or, like, if it was unclear whether or not she actually uses sex as a weapon, yeah, she seduces men in power within Cobra.
Femme fatale.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why? I mean, she rolls out in so many hiss tanks.
And maggots.
Huh?
And
Oh, yeah,
there's some
yeah.
maggots in there. Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't seem to go very well for her.
Well, it exposes the great weakness of the hiss tank. Like, yeah, that is glass in the front. I love the fact that there's a panel of Horror Show shooting up the driver. Just, like, blasting
Yes.
Gunfire at the front of the hiss. Oh, the gunner's also taking it.
Yeah. That's highly intimidating, even if that is bulletproof, like windshield. That's, yeah, terrifying. If you were in there and someone's just unloading. Yeah. Now, what's going on with this Cobra helicopter, S-Jubs?
The sort of proto Mamba.
Proto, yeah.
Well,
It's cool, but those rotors I don't get. That's not going to work.
it doesn't work on the page because your brain just tells you no.
The physics.
They're geared, my friend, so that they never.
They never touch. Yeah, fine.
Yep. This is a real thing.
Yeah, wow.
Helicopters with a sort of a V-set double rotor hub. I think they're called syncropters because they are synchronized to always miss.
Yeah.
Incredible. We spoke about Herb Trimpe's Operation Sea Strike in a previous podcast. He went quite off piste, shall we say, off reservation to create a number of like fantastical Cobra vehicles. Well, now he's got a real life Mamba to draw upon, but he still made this one a kind of either a prototype or a expanded capacity Mamba. It seats 4. A Mamba typically has 3, and it splits them up: a central pod and 2 side pods. Whereas this one just has a central, like big
It's a
cabin.
beautiful cockpit.
It is great. I wish the toy was this, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think so. It
This is kind of a
screams
VIP.
Cobra. I mean,
And also as a callback to that that undersea helicopter.
yes,
I think.
yes.
In some respects, it's kind of swoopy. Oh, and this one one-ups the actual sort of toy Mamba by having landing skids.
Oh, yes, yeah, wow.
Mamba is just... The Mamba's all bang and like no buck. Like it's all form and no function.
You'd have to hold that from the underside on the tail, I guess, because those rotors are going to be in the way.
Of course you're going to hold it from the underside. That's where the knob...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just hold it like that. Yeah. I think that looks like a really cool vehicle.
Love it.
But that kind of brings us to the end of this story, really.
Yeah. The Joes escape on what is, I'm going to affectionately call, a cobra shark.
Yeah, look at those two. In the like
elongated.
almost in the submarine pen.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, they're cool. And the hydrofoils look how do they look? They kind of, I don't know, they look almost more pointy or elongated.
Well, they look good in the establishing shots. They look less so in later shots. I don't know. It's a tricky thing to illustrate from all angles.
Yeah.
But Trimpey does a terrific job on everything except I find the his tanks are a bit dud in this issue.
But look, if you're back in 1987 and you're reading this issue, you are not even halfway through this book.
No.
Because that ends and the adventure continues. So you basically catch up on, the last 12 issues?
Affirmative.
Yeah.
A year's worth of comics in just a few pages. Now,
You've got
that
scans, haven't you, there? Because
I do.
I will say that the quality of this isn't that great. Like, when you get to the cover gallery, you can barely make out the covers in my issue. But it's a I suppose if you've just picked up this book, this is a really nice way to economically catch up.
It is a slap in the face to have all those covers so small.
Oh, some of them are yeah, that's strange.
6 to a page.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting a sort of a pin-up gallery of each cover reproduced. It's like, wow. Why did they
But
bother?
look, for my money, now you get to the thing that saves this issue. We have got...
Kidding me?
Come on! It's just something different with Bystander S-Jubs.
So generic. So unnecessary.
But maybe... not in 87, it's not generic.
No, it is absolutely a generic story of... For anyone who has not read this book or this backup story, it's Snake Eyes and Scarlet.
I think the art's...
On the
Who's on
road.
the art?
This is Tony Selman's.
I think it's interesting.
It is interesting. It is absolutely where the main run was at this point. I think this is during Tony's time.
The only thing is
just
that
about
what?
to.
Do you really feel that that's what Snake Eyes looks like?
Like a G-man, like a.
He's too broad. Like,
Well, this is Tony's art style.
yeah, I get that. I'm just saying, you couldn't even imagine him being in his suit there, could you? I mean,
No.
he wouldn't look right.
Doesn't help that he has a very
He's not an NFL player.
boxy 1980s suit and jacket, or
Yeah,
suit
like
jacket and slacks.
here, that's not Snake Eyes.
No. But he is in mufti. He is kind of in his plain clothes guise. So yeah, maybe he does dress a little bit baggy and oversized
Yeah.
when he can. I mean, we've often seen him in his kind of dress greens with the mask and the hat. Now he's in civvies. But yeah, look, I don't know, dude. This is absolutely generic. And coming from your Tarantino rewatch, this scene. It feels like it's plucked from one of those films. This is one of
from
those
Dusk Till Dawn or something. Yeah.
classic tropes.
Mm-hmm.
They pull up into a gas station in the middle of nowhere. It happens to get robbed at the time, and it's like, boy, oh boy, were those robbers in the wrong place at the wrong time. And unfortunately, they start offloading on the cashiers. So Snake Eyes, lethal force engaged. He dispatches them with extreme prejudice.
What would you like to speculate why the up tops, Marvel, the editor, decided to not keep doing yearbooks every year?
For much the same reason that Special Missions started tapering off in the late 80s. It's because the book was in decline. These splinter titles and extra materials and more books were a result of the 1986 boom.
But you're not getting an ARA issue, are you, that month? This is instead of an ARA issue, is it not? So they have a break? I don't know.
My understanding was no, this is extra.
Because when I've gotten yearbook, because I still I had a Daredevil yearbook recently, or an annual they call it now. I don't know, but it's usually it's
Okay.
different writer, different artist, and it's kind of got nothing to do with the run. And yeah, they still have.
That would make a lot of sense because this does have, Wait, it doesn't make a lot of sense. This does have continuity elements that feed into the main run.
Yeah.
So if this was the substitute for that month's issue, that makes sense to me because they're about to invade Cobra Island in a stolen Cobra Chopper. Where did they get the Cobra Chopper from? It was recovered in Yearbook 4.
Yeah. So I think I just struggled with this issue because for some reason I thought I was going to be getting. I've just read too many annuals, so I don't know what. I've obviously never read a yearbook before, unless I did on Talking Joe. Maybe I did Yearbook 1. I don't know. I can't remember, but yeah, I can see why it probably would have been good at the time to catch up on the last 12, and you get this kind of an okay October Guard story. I mean, how do you feel about the issue as a whole?
Don't mind it. Certainly didn't mind it as a youngster. Because as I said up top, this gave me ideas on how to play.
Great cover.
Yeah,
It's a great
how to
cover.
play out a nighttime sneak and peek on Cobra Island, and
Yes.
that there is this hidden hazard, this dude who's been tasked with patrolling the swamps, which Joe thinks, oh, fair game. Cobra can't put like motion sensors or cameras there. They can't run any kind of cabling through there. So Cobra Island swamps are like easy passage for us. No one can track us through a swamp. Like dogs can't sniff you through water and stuff like that. But no. Cobra's got a very novel solution for all this body of stagnant water, and that's to have killer crocodiles or alligators.
Crocmaster featured so heavily in our setups, with swamps and lying him down and stuff like that. Yeah, he was a grubby, dirtied up fig, for sure.
And like getting your Joes to sneak around after dark, was this not like Oh, you didn't read this as a child.
No, I didn't read this as a child, but I mean, yeah, Joe sneaking around after dark was happening for sure. But Crocmaster, I'd never ever play him even having a conversation with another Cobra villain. Like
yeah.
he is in total solitude to
Just breathing
to
heavily all the
everything.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so buying him after this episode.
Chasing Joe. It's
Chasing figs.
it's dangerous, my friend.
Look, I don't really like this issue that much, but I tell you what, it's done what it tried to do in 1987, which was to make children buy Crocmaster. Well, it's made this 43-year-old want to buy Crocmaster. So congratulations, GI Joe Yearbook 4.
Something that is an absolute tease to an issue like this, which can't get you hunting down figures on eBay, is the fact that it showcases Wetsuit and Torpedo in their on-land kind of getup.
Yes, that is a really cool bit of this ish.
Dude.
Because
Yes.
that is really awesome. Because why did they make that creative choice? I'm so glad they did, because you could just keep them in their kind of action figure guys.
They are
But the fact that they put
men,
headbands
the right men for
on,
the job.
yeah, and they are
and Larry
loaded
knew
up.
that.
They're so loaded up.
Larry understood the function of a Navy SEAL was like, yeah, sure, they're using sea or air as their insertion method. But the work that they are carrying out happens on land. So they're all sort of land fighters.
It's like what we were saying about the Cobra Eel. You know, it's so nice to see them running around actually doing stuff, because it's like, yeah, they're not just always under bloody water. They're like seals.
I do have one nitpick, and maybe you can no prize it, but like, so Torpedo, Edward Lealoha, is a native Hawaiian, right?
Okay.
Why is he depicted as a Caucasian dude with blonde hair in this issue? Can you riddle me that? I mean, they gave Wetsuit the boonie hat. That's his sort of go-to look. So he's got a kind of a anonymity about him. We never see his eyes. He's almost like a surrogate Snake Eyes. And yet Torpedo's really looking like pre-burn Snake Eyes by having those.
Oh, he looks so good there.
Yeah, man.
That
80s camo.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up, because it's probably the best aspect of this story, these two dudes. And they just look so badass.
Perfect team. I mean, you think to yourself, well, surely one of them is all that Joes need. But no, they work best in symphony.
Yeah.
Like in the early parts of the issue, they're clogging up Shraj and Stormovic's outboard motor with some like plastic wire. And then they just pop up and they're like, I got you guys covered.
Yeah.
With our spear guns.
Yeah, I mean, look at them there. Very different.
Yeah, once again, this is art that the colorist has on multiple occasions miscolored Wetsuit. Like, he's never getting his yellows. There's always kind of like a red.
Yeah, I've still got my Wetsuit. Yeah. I've still got him.
Yeah, Wetsuit never looks like Wetsuit in these issues. It's weird. But it's a weird scuba outfit to get right.
Yeah.
It's like a white portion in the center mass, and then the straps and things, and there's a lot of yellow.
Yeah, man, I love water play with my Joes. It's just so good.
Sneaky appearance of a shark. And Deep Six not wearing his, like, Buzz Lightyear outfit.
Look, I am here for all of this stuff based out at sea. I do love it. Like, would you imagine G.I. Joe always has some kind of presence in the oceans around Cobra Island? Because legally they are okay to be there on Cobra Island, but they kind of just stay close. Almost
imagine
at all
the USS
times.
flag being parked anywhere but near Cobra Island.
Yeah.
You want that, like, carrier fleet ready to go in and
I'd imagine it would be like the Joes would be like, oh, have you been there yet? Have you been there yet? Have you done a little mission there yet? Because I in my head, they're never going there en masse, but they will do like an infiltration to do some, I don't know, reconnaissance or something like that. And it's, you know, imagine being stationed out there and you're always near Cobra Island, but you've never actually gone on a boat and actually stepped foot on Cobra Island.
You get a Cobra Island invader patch that goes on a uniform that
and then
you can never wear and never have access to. It's just in a vault somewhere. Yeah.
And they'd come back and they're like, look, the blue shirts and the Cobras are the least of your worries. There's some, you know, it would almost be like a fable. It would be like, is he real? Apparently there's a croc dude. You're like, yeah, he's real. Yeah. Why did Cobra not just employ that dude? For goodness sake, man. How long's his trial?
I like the idea that he fails this trial. That this was his big showcase of like whether or not his system works. And it fails miserably. Well, think about it. His crocs get wiped out mercilessly by the October Guard and GI Joe. And yeah, I mean,
alligators.
Alligators, apologies. He himself is not a big enough threat to cover that area. He doesn't get involved in any of the combat. Like, it would have been cool if they gave him a sniper rifle and he was like actually doing some of the damage himself. But without his crocs, he seems a little bit inept.
I know what you mean. I never really played in combat with him. It was always him feeding Joes to his croc. Like, it wasn't fisticuffs. It was, there's a surprise element there, and then it's just gruesome torture.
Oh yeah. Blanking on the name. Roger Moore's first outing.
Live and Let Die, and yeah, those are gators, aren't they? Are they the alligator farm?
Either way, I do feel
the stunt is insane. That's a crazy stunt. Have you seen the B-roll when he fall? Like, I think he only did it twice. The first time he did it, he stacks it at the end, and one swings round and just misses his foot.
Stunt guy, right?
Stunt dude, yeah.
Because yeah,
I think he says one of them
famously did not run. You told
he can't run. He looks terrible on film running, so they were like, "Geez, dude, it's such a weird look." I think in that scene, it's a gator farm, but then one of them is a croc, and he's like, "That's a croc."
Croc is
yeah,
shit.
I think crocs are more aggressive. They are nastier. They're bigger. They can go in the sea. They're way more scary, aren't they, than a gator?
I cannot confirm or deny, but I am in croc country here in Australia. Though that said, like, these crocs that Crocmaster has, or alligators, need to be specially bred to be aggressive, because seeing crocs in the sort of the zoo and whatnot, when they do the big show, sometimes it goes for the chicken. Sometimes it's like, I'm chilled.
S-Jubs, when you see him in the wild, the hairs go up. You're looking at a dinosaur.
Sure.
They are. I have got this thing with saltwater crocs. They are terrifying to me. I saw some in the sea up in Arnhem Land, and just the fact that they can go in the sea freaks me out. It's like, Christ, guys, why have you got to be so good?
Stick to the waterways. Yeah, man, an apex predator who eats everything, including their own young. That freaked me out. That baby crocs have to run away from their mothers, because otherwise, moms, if she's feeling peckish...
Dude, they would take you and they would just pack you into the bank, and they'd just come back every month or so. Sod that!
Jeez. So yes, Crocmaster had all the promise of someone truly horrific and scary. This issue, I'm going to admit it, falls short of that mark. But
yeah.
Still a novel way of presenting him, and one that, served as an inspiration for me.
Yeah, so that's our first yearbook of Chasing Joe covered. And I was so chuffed that it was an original story. For some reason, I just assumed it would be, I don't know, a reprint of something, or... So that was nice.
Surely they only get better from here.
Because we're working backwards. Yes. No, some of them have got some great covers. I know that. I think the first one might be quite punchy as well. I don't know. This was only $2.99.
We will find out as the Chasing Joe journey continues. I mean, wouldn't it be interesting if in every year of this podcast we do a different yearbook?
Ah, yeah.
I
we
wouldn't
could do
want
that.
to take away the random element of the postman dropping something through your slot. So,
Hey,
if it
wait a
happens, it
minute.
happens. What?
Dude, also, there is zero advertising in this book. There is not a single advert.
Which
I don't know what
leads
that
me to
means.
believe That, and the comments will help us, but it leads me to believe that there was a mainline release.
Yes.
This month, and
Yeah.
this is ancillary. This is extra.
Yeah, because not even... that's so cool. Woo.
Is that a Mike Zeck? That's the back cover, and it's a poster. You like that?
Yeah, is that a Mike Zeck? He was involved in some of the yearbooks. It's possible.
It says MZ on the...
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is.
But Mike Zeck has a different signature to that. I don't know.
MC and BMC.
Oh, MC. Okay. I see that as a MZ. But
No,
once
that's
again,
that's
what do we
dude.
know?
Yeah, no, you're right. It is MZ.
Yeah.
But there you go. This kind of got me thinking about annuals.
That would be
and
Bob McLeod. So yeah, Mike Zeck with Bob McLeod colors and inks. Yeah, that's a match made in heaven right there. Those boys.
Chief was in his loft and he found all of his Action Force annuals, and I thought I had them all, and there's loads more than I first thought. So I've got business. I want to be reading them pro stories for sure.
That is a happy business.
He found one with... Oh, what was on the front of it? It's after the Tiger Force one. It must have been one of the last ones they ever did.
Wow.
It's got
Okay, what was the cover?
I'm just trying to think what the ruddy cover was. Oh, I think it's got the Phantom on it. I think it's the Phantom. And it's not Action Force, it's just full GI Joe, I think, by then. Yeah, I've got... How many have I got? 1, 2, 3. There might be 5. Oh, getting one of those at Christmas is the great time in your life, though. They are full of fun. I actually just bought the real Ghostbusters annual as well to read to Scout. I'm a sucker for an annual. I've got all the Transformers ones. They're great. You get a couple of comics in there. You get a word search. You get a quiz. Like insane prose stories in the Transformers one. Talk about like aging up. I mean, the language that is used is just unreal. To think that like an 8-year-old is going to be reading that is freaking works of art.
Mate, they knew that 8-year-olds at least had access to a thesaurus back then. We didn't have Google, but man, if we encountered a word we didn't understand, dictionary's your pal, and not for writing out lines. I think I'm going to call you up on that. I think it's the Conquest, not the Phantom.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he did. He told me that. It's that. And it's still Action Force.
Mm-hmm. But this would have been 1990.
Okay. Maybe that's before the Tiger Force one then, actually.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
The year before. But
I don't know what the heck. I'm going to have to ring up my mum. What was she doing? I got a gap.
This was on sale 1989. So
Okay.
The Action Force annual 1990 would have been Christmas 89.
Look, no Christmas was complete if you weren't getting an annual of something. Like, be it Transformers, Action Force, Real Ghostbusters, something. Come on. And I was thrilled when I opened up my annuals. It was like a great gift. But there you go.
There you go.
There you go. Another episode of
the
Chasing
audience about
Joe.
the tradition of the annual. Yes, another episode of Chasing Joe.
It's 40 next week. We're turning 40. Yeah. 40 episodes of this show. I don't know if that means the postman's going to give me anything special. Maybe for episode 50 he will. I don't know. But we're getting through it.
52, no, but think about it. Episode 52, that's 52 weeks. We haven't taken a break as of yet. If we've done a year of Chasing Joe, straight up, we're getting through some comics as well. We are getting through some damn books. Long ways to go yet, though. Long ways to go yet. My wallet isn't burning too much. But look, I've got to get onto eBay and Vinted, and I've got to find myself a Crocmaster and see if I can get it delivered before next week's episode, so I can show you. I think finding one complete is going to be problematic. There is a repro artist who does pretty good hoses, but failing that, I took a piece of guitar string, bent that to fit.
The E string, I take it.
Yeah, the thick,
the low E, yeah.
Is it the E?
The top one. Yeah, you took that.
I took that, bent it to fit, and painted it black, and it was a pretty handsome stand-in.
Well, this has been a pretty handsome episode of Chasing Joe. I've been BenFlyingRetro. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me over watch or listen to even People Who Play. That's me and my wife talking about life and parenting and all that kind of stuff. Check that out. S-Jubs, the flagship, just keeps on trucking.
This week we would have spoken about the 90s with a guy who that subject is extremely near to his heart. So expect a fun expose on the decade that's, I suppose, for many early Joe fans, is the decade that sank it. But man, there's some goodness that needs to be said.
There is. I popped up in one of your lives with a question. No, not a question. I think I just said hello. But that was a great time. What would it have been for me? It was just such a great time. It was like maybe
Friday afternoon.
It was the afternoon, and I was like, whoa, but you were not there. I think you must have gone or left.
Yeah.
But I popped up and said hello.
Life plays its hand. Look,
what were you doing? Was it a watch-along?
No, well, we discussed some cartoons, but it was just sort of general chat and hang out. Doing a live is something we'd like to do more of. It has been difficult recently because scheduling sucks, and I have young children, and the only time we can
time zones
get together, time zones, is the only time we can get together is after dark for SA, which is morning for me, which is ropey. Whereas Chasing Joe, you seem to be able to take the afternoons or the late mornings and jump on a podcast.
I'm flexible, super flexible.
Serious, which makes it evening record for me, which is easy. Anyways, that's too much of a peek behind the curtain. For what everyone hears by now.
Stay out. Right, guys, until next week, have great weeks, and we will see you next week for episode 40 of Chasing Joe. Cobra!
Crocmaster, Crocmaster, coming at you. It's Crocmaster.